Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. We are back in the old guy's shed today for another exciting fun-filled episode here, working on our 1978 GS550, seeing if we can get it running and spiffy it up a little bit. Hadn't planned on recording today. I was going to do the oil and then change the spark plugs and take a look at a few other things. The spark plugs I'm putting in are these fancy E3 doohickeys here. They got kind of a weird gap on them, but we'll see about how that works. The reason I wanted to get this was to show you, I just started the oil change and a little bit of a problem. So let me grab the camera here and see if we can get you around to take a look at this. Alrighty, didn't want to get the light out or anything, but wanted to see. So there's the oil filter goes right in there. Hope you can see that. What I really wanted to show you though is down here in the oil pan. There's the oil filter, and that is all of the oil that came out of the machine. There's if I come over here to the Bible, the maintenance manual here, you can see that it says GS550 at oil and filter change, 2.6 liters or about 2.8 quarts, US quarts, so about 3 quarts. Yeah, I think we're a little bit short. This is one thing that was bothering me, because the actual oil port over here doesn't have a dipstick on it. The oil fill, anyways, doesn't have a dipstick on it. Right here says 2,400 milliliters, but the cap doesn't have a dipstick like you'd see sometimes. Instead, what it's got is this goofy, right there, that goofy sight glass that you can't really see in. And so I'm not sure, even looking at it. Maybe if I shine a light in there, I can see. But yeah, so I think we're a little bit short on the oil here. So I'll get that, get the new filter put in, and we'll go ahead and get the spark plugs changed. And then next weekend, we should be able to fire this up and start on the carburetor synchronization. All right, then. It's been a couple weeks since we've been out in the shed working on the motorcycle. The weather and work had kept me out of the shed now, so for a while there, but now I'm back in, and I was going to, we did get the new spark plugs in, so I got these fancy E3 finally, the right ones, and they actually fit in there. Not sure if you can see these. They're kind of weird looking, with the electrode on them, and it's got a circle around it, and they're the E3 brand. So anyways, we'll see how those work. I did keep the old ones. The old ones are actually in good shape once I cleaned them up, so we'll give these a try first and then see where we go from there. So I wanted to get the fuel hooked up today, and I came out and I had forgotten to put in a fuel hose when I put the carburetor back in the last time. So yep, I took the carburetor out again. This darn fuel hose, I don't know if you can see it right there. So I got it pointing down now. I'm not sure that's how I want to keep it. It's pretty tight fit between the fuel hose and the front of the air box here, air box handler thing in the back. I'd like to put a clamp on there, the kind that you can tighten down instead of those spring types. And I'm not sure that's going to work in here, because the way this fuel rail is kind of tight in here. I really think this is probably one of the worst ways you can design a fuel rail. But anyways, we'll see if we can get that working. I got the fuel hose coming out here on the other side, so we should be able to get fuel into the carburetor that way once we are ready to hook it up. But since I had to take out the carburetor and air box again, I went ahead and decided to see if we could find another spot for this. And if we look down here, this would be under where the filter is, and then the battery box sits over, battery box sits over here, and then the electrical stuff sits over here with the brake fluid reservoir. So looking at it, I think I can easily fit this down down here, something like that, and go ahead and get that cleaned up. Want to go ahead and make sure I've got some bare metal here. I think this on the back here, I think this is more for a heat sink than it is for an electrical contact. But I think I'm still going to go ahead and wire brush the area here where I want it to sit, and then we'll put some dielectric grease or something on here. And then I've got some quarter 20 bolts and a quarter 20 tap. I had to go up to the hardware store because of course I couldn't find my darn tap. So I'll drill 2 holes, and then we'll wire brush this up real good and see if we can get the voltage regulator rectifier installed there, and then put this back together. Not sure we're going to get it done this weekend, but we'll give it a shot. Today's only Saturday, so it's getting kind of hot out here though, here in Florida. So we'll have to see how long my willpower can overcome the heat. So pause here and be back when we get something done. All right then. I was hoping the neighbor would be done pressure washing or lawnmowing or whatever they doing. So if you hear something in the background, that's what's going on. Anyways, I got the first hole over here drilled and tapped. This metal isn't quite as thick as I thought it would be, but I think we're still okay. I think we got enough there. It's not like we're looking to, it's not a real mechanical connection. We're just looking to keep it in place. The rectifier regulator there. So I think we're okay. I did go ahead and drill through. It's about probably 1.5 or 2 inch kind of box thing here. So I did drill all the way through just in case, and to make sure that there was a way for water to get out. So that was my other concern, was drilling holes in this what looks like a sealed up box. If we get water in here, it would sit. But like I said, I've got it drilled all the way through. And the other thing is so if this tapping it doesn't work, then I can always just go ahead and through bolt it. Be some long screws with nuts underneath, but I think that would work too. So my tapping setup here is about as hokey as you can get. I've got a drill extension with a Allen set screw holding the actual tap in place, and then I've got this little bitty ratchet up here. I didn't want to put the big one on it because I want to make sure I don't overpower the tap, make sure I've got a good control of it. We don't want to wiggle it vertically too much. You want to try to keep it pretty centered. That's why they make the T type of when you use it, the T handle that comes with most tap sets, so that you keep an even pressure and you keep it without wobbling it back and forth. So I think we're doing okay here. That first one came out pretty good. You just give it. I've been using. I don't really have cutting fluid, so I've been just using some WD-40 here to keep it kind of lubricated up a little bit there. So it seems to be working pretty good. All right, so it looks like we're through. I'm gonna go ahead and chase it through quite a bit here. Make sure there's almost no resistance on it, and then I'll go ahead and back it out, and then we'll probably need to drive it through once more. It's feeling pretty good. Spray this off, and we'll chase it down just one last time here. Tap's nice and clean now. Let's see if we can get this started without too much problem. Yep, that looks pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and back this out, make sure the 1/4-20 fits in there. Give that another hose down. Yep, just like downtown. Except it sticks. The other one did that too. Not quite sure what's going on there. Just make sure we get it in all the way. All right, good enough. Yep, looks good. I'll go ahead and get this cleaned up and we'll get this darn thing mounted in here finally, hopefully today. It should fit right in there. Yep, plenty of room. Holes are close enough. I'll clean that up. And like I said, I'll probably put some dielectric grease underneath it and we can put the rest of it back together. All right, then you can see we got this darn thing finally in. It is nice and solid. It's not moving. I was careful not to over tighten those bolts. I didn't want to strip out those threads I just cut. Little off one way here on this bolt, but it works pretty good, I think. I did put the dielectric grease underneath it. That was more for corrosion protection down the road. That dielectric grease is pretty thick, so it should last a good while and still give us some good heat transfer, because that's what I think it needs the most. And then I just checked here. Let me just pull in the, if I can do it one-handed here. So here's the air filter box, and I'll just put it right about. So yeah, that looks good. So you can see underneath it, it's got plenty of room. And then with the battery box sitting here, there's still some pretty good room under there. If you needed to put in accessories, I'd probably go underneath the air filter here for this bike. It's some pretty good room there. We'll see how long this lasts in this position, and see what it looks like after a year or two on the road. So anyways, we'll go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and probably call it quits for today, and then we'll be back tomorrow to see where we're at, maybe finish up this episode. Alrighty then, I got the got it all put back together. I don't know if you can see, but right down in there, that's the voltage regulator. Rectifier is down there. Plenty of room underneath the air filter box up here at the top. So that looks like that's going to work pretty good. I got everything else back together, even though we'll have to take it apart again to put it back for the final time. Also, I went ahead and put in this this doohickey here for getting fuel to the motorcycle when I go to do the carb sync. It looks like it's doing pretty good. You can see here the level, and if I bring it over here, it's right about at where the carb level or the fuel rail is, because it turns out that, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but the fuel rail down there, the center fuel rail, is leaking a little bit. Over 2 hours, when I left this about 2 hours ago, it was right at just at the bottom here. So over 2 hours, it's leaked a little bit, but I think it's okay. I'll go ahead and do the carb sync with that small leak there, and then like I said, I have to take the carb back out to get the ports for the synchronization out. So when I take the carb out for the last time, we'll go ahead and see if we can't do something about that center fuel rail. I think there is an aftermarket part that you can get for that. I'll do some more looking and see if we can get something on order to replace that, because it's actually a T that sits in there. So we'll see about that. The other parts that I got to order, I don't remember if I think I told you that, you know, the this battery box is a little bit loose in the right here at this, and when I took it apart, it's actually the rubber. There's a rubber grommet that sits in between, and I think that the rubber grommet is the problem, because there's actually a spacer in there underneath the screw. There's a spacer. So I'm going to see if we can get replacement grommets for all three. There's 3 spots that it's got. So see if we can find replacements for those rubber grommets there. So good. Yep. And I think that's, oh yeah, there's one more thing. So I've given up on the these fancy E3. I put them in, and turns out that let's see if we can show this, the center stud post there is pretty big on on these E3s, and yeah, they're not going to work. So I've given up on it. If anybody knows the correct E3 spark plugs to buy, let me know, because I'll just keep these. These are in pretty good shape, so we'll at least keep going with these the original spark plugs that were in here. Alrighty then, we're gonna go ahead and finish up this episode of the Old Guy Shed here. We have got quite a bit of work done. Next step will be to see if we can fire this up and get some carb synchronization started. I think that's going to be about a whole episode to get the motorcycle started up, and then do the carb sync after that, and see what other trouble we run into here. Like I said, I got some parts to order. I think the next episode is probably going to be delayed for about 2 weeks. I don't think I'm going to be able to get enough time to spend for the carb sync, because I think it's going to take 2 or 3 hours, and I want to make sure I've got a good period of time there. So anyways, next episode might be delayed for a couple weeks, but we'll get one back out to you as soon as we can. Wanted to say thanks for watching, thanks for your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Please leave me any comments, questions, suggestions down below. Please tell your friends about me, and please subscribe. Everyone, take care and be good.